Nation.
What's up, man? What's good with you, man?
He's not always there when you call. But he's always on time.
Yes,
Mr.
indeed.
Nation.
What's
Wow.
good with you?
Now this is the beautiful thing. As soon as Law joined the live stream, look at the views. Hey.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Law Nation, how are you?
Man, I'm well, man. We in the playoffs, man. Let's get it. I heard you talking about DB, man. I said, I had to finish this up, finish it up. I said, let me hurry up and get in on here, man. Had to put on my uniform, man. You know how it go.
and you know what, Law? People was asking for you. And I'm like, man, I hope he could jump on. But I know Law's a busy guy. He's a busy dude, y'all. So just the fact that he even took his time, that means the world to me. And y'all don't know, like, me and Law go back 5-6 years in, man. And
before the beard, right?
Hey, before the beard.
Before the beard.
And what are we doing on the back end against Tampa? I know you've been dialed in. What is Law Nation doing on the back end against this team, sir?
Man, I would not play hero ball. I heard you talking about Malik Hooker. We need him to stay on top of the roof, make sure he's secure. DB2. But that's all we need for him to do. The fascinating thing is about Dayron Bland. When you was talking about him, he can play inside and outside. But when we was in Oxnard, he played primarily only on the outside. So it's been a phenomenal look to see him do what he's doing this season or this past season. And nickel is everything. And that Jordan Lewis injury hurt us more than the Anthony Brown injury, because we could literally live with Jordan Lewis's of the world's inside and have Bland on the outside, because I think that he is probably I'm not going to say that he's better than Trayvon Diggs as ball skills, but he's in the next row, man. He's right there with him.
Dude, Law, I've said that I wanted everybody to just give a round of applause for just how this front office is drafted and how we get what we get out of these guys at such a young age.
Right.
It's quite incredible. And you're going to need them. Let me ask you this, Law. With LVE coming back, what are we doing with our linebackers? This is it. This is it, right, Law? Like, there's no more experimenting. What are we doing, Law? Talk to me.
Well, it's going to be LVE and then Damone. I think those will be your two starting linebacker. We play so much big nickel, and we just got to get Anthony Barr. Even Anthony Barr had 1.5 good games. His first good game was that Cincinnati Bengals tape. You look at that and you say, oh, we got us a real one. And then he disappeared. And all through the year, we was looking at Anthony Barr and we was like, even though a lot of people were taking the SHIT on LVE, we were still sitting there looking at it like,
I know, right?
He's a little bit better than Anthony.
It's amazing how that run defense look when LVE out the game.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. But to be fair to LVE, we all was banging on the table when we looked at his scouting tape and said he will be a guy that flourish if he can keep his pad levels low and keep his pads clean, meaning if you got somebody in front of him, maybe he can do the hook to flat. He's good in coverage, and we would see that type of LVE, but we never really had any dogs up front.
Right.
To be fair.
That's an off-season conversation that I think that, I said this. I was thinking about this the other day, Law. I said, Dallas is not going to be big spenders in free agency. No, we don't think.
Right.
But I said this. I said that this is a big if, right?
Yeah.
If you wanted to break the bank on a player, I think it would be Daron Payne. I think that what he can do in setting the anchor with the athletes that we have and the defense that we want to run, I think that would be the type of player to get your defense from I think that we have a good enough, you have everything you need to win, but to make it just crazy, you get a guy like Daron Payne in who you don't know, because even with Philly and with Jordan Davis, yes, he's been good and these types of things but it's still been you get a guy like Payne in who's been like an undeniable just load. I think that's the part where it starts to get fun, Law.
Yeah. Those are the areas where it do get fun when you start talking about a Duran or Quentin Williams or somebody like that. I mean, if we look at how we utilizing Parsons, right? He'll fit perfectly in the 3-4 system, but by us playing big nickel and Parsons dealing on with taking on bigger and bigger people as relates to trying to fabricate pressure, it's difficult for us to see Parsons elevate his game to the level that we want to see him at. So that's why I would love for us to go 3-4. I would love for us to figure that out, but that could be a lot of wholesale changes, right? You would need bigger linebackers, more athletic linebackers, and you would need bigger guys down inside the trenches. But the quick way to put the Band-Aid over that would be just go ahead and get a dominant guy inside. I know we probably would like to see that out of the draft, but let's be real, man. It's a hit or miss, right? So I would rather go with a known commodity like a Payne or Quentin Williams or someone like that. But let me ask you this.
Yes, sir.
With the 32nd pick, the Cowboys select Joey Porter Jr. Now, what would you like in the draft? Because I know you've been looking at these DBs, man. Because we got to, at this point, either look at a DB or comb through the free agency and just insert another guy, because we know for sure we can't hang our tent on Xavier Rhodes. He's 33 years already, right, of age. We can't sit there and say, all right, cool, we good with Nashawn Wright. I like him. I heard what you were saying about him. But what gets me, I like him on vertical routes. I still don't like him on end cutting and those breaking routes because his hips,
routes is scary.
Because his hips is, he's fast, but his hips is a little stiff. What you like to go with?
You know, the name you said, Law, you doing some homework now with Joey Porter Jr. He's been a guy that I follow since high school. And then obviously at Penn State, he's just been a complete stud. You know, to me, I said this, Law, before we even talk athletes. I've said that, hey, is DaRon Bland your outside corner next year for the future? That's what we don't know. A guy who I think that will probably be out of our range, but one of my favorite just players is Brian Branch. Now, and that's the DB from Alabama. Is he a corner? Is he a nickel? I just think he's a great football player. And give me a bunch of those guys. He can play corner. He can also come up and bang you. Give me a bunch of those type of athletes, and then I can figure it out. And I will figure out the rest of it. I think that Joey Porter Jr. is a name.
Ringo, we won't have a chance, right?
No. Well, so the interesting thing about Keely Ringo is, if you really get to his tape, Law, he's had some struggles now.
Right.
There's a kid, right, that nobody's talking about right now, but I think as the process goes on, there's a kid, Christian Gonzalez from Oregon. Okay. That is as the process goes along, you know, Oregon puts good DBs in the league, right?
Yeah.
Right, Law?
So far, yeah.
Yeah, right? Miami drafted one that we were going to take a few years ago. I just believe that DB and see, this draft is so funny. It's DB heavy, receiver not so much. Max Melton from Rutgers. So there's a lot of guys.
And then you gotta sit back and wait for the hype machine, the combine, and the pro days. You know, the hype machine. You know, the underwear Olympics. Hey man, this dude ran a 4.3. Let's see, because that's the thing is, even with Ringo, you want to know, is he really a 4.3 guy or what is he? You know, he's big. You know, we can see that. But how did he perform on the 3-cone? How did he perform on change of direction? Look, let's see if he can do this and that. So those are things that we're gonna have to all sit back and wait. And that's why cornerbacks are the most intriguing spots. Them and wide receivers, coming out of the draft. They're intriguing.
And I'm gonna tell you where you're gonna be drafting at. So the beautiful thing about this team,
I said the 32nd pick. You hear me?
So now you got to think about DBs. I think are going to fly off the board. There's a lot of good ones, Law. Obviously, you want those quarterbacks to go. It's a few good tight ends. What is receiver and what is, I'm gonna say this, Dallas is not gonna draft a defensive tackle high. They just don't do it. And so we know this, you know this. What about linebacker? There's a kid, Jack Campbell, that plays for Iowa. And I'm just like, I know we drafted Damone Clark, but if we want to just let Micah Parsons just rush, and I think that's what Micah, if you just want to, and then you start talking about that 3-4, you start talking about just letting him be a stand-up DN.
Right. Just go ahead and peel it off and let him be a Von Miller. Let him be a Khalil Mack. Let him be a TJ Watt. Just go ahead and do it, because I don't like it being fabricated right now. It don't look like it's working for the long run. I'm gonna tell you. Let Micah put some weight on. I don't think he'll lose his quickness. And just let him, like you said, let him just be that guy, Law. Let him just go get on the edge. But anyway, linebacker and receiver now start to get interesting, right? Yeah. Right. SMU has a receiver that I love. And so it's listen, draft, and I told myself I like Jordan Addison from USC. Draft talk, because it's so clear that I thought you were gonna yell out Jalen Hyatt, but keep going.
I like Hyatt now. Listen, Hyatt can fly. It's so obvious what Dallas needs. They need a fast
receiver. Not long in the tooth. Just go ahead, rip the Band-Aid up. But see, before we get into this, and this is why the conversation, I know we're gonna talk about the playoffs and what have you, but I'm just with this belief. If the Cowboys go ahead and pull the trigger on a known commodity and say bump that first round draft pick, what about a DK Metcalf? What if they should have did something to go get a DJ Moore, a known commodity, somewhere where we can look back at and say they're not too old, but they already been around. We know what they can bring to the table. We got CeeDee Lamb, first team All-Pro CeeDee Lamb, because any of these wide receivers like a Quentin Johnson or Jalen or what have you, they gonna still have to go through their growing pains, right?
No, yeah, I completely agree. And I want to give a shout out. JC, I meant to shout you out. We got caught up in this draft talk. We started going crazy once we started talking draft. But shout out to my homie JC Cowboys Network. You guys go follow him. Really solid dude. He's getting his YouTube thing going, and he's doing a great job with it. Now, let me say this, and he's talking about Jordan Addison. I completely agree. If you tell me you put DJ Moore on this team opposite CeeDee Lamb, let's go play football. Let's go play football. And it's clear, Law, I'm watching the game, and I'm watching Michael Gallup can't separate, and I'm watching Noah Brown can't separate. And I'm watching, teams, and this is what's going to happen. We told y'all at the beginning of the year, we said, hey, by the way, CD is a true number one, and he's now proved that. Second team All-Pro. There's nothing else that can be said about CeeDee Lamb.
No.
But now teams know that. And so what teams are going to do is say, okay, Michael Gallup, you beat me. Okay, Noah Brown, you beat me. And so I think that you do need to get a number two that could play off of CeeDee Lamb. And I think that you'll be good to go. You can get it in the draft, depending on where you're drafting at, like you said, or bump that first round pick. If you're telling me that we're picking 32nd because we just won a Super Bowl and we want to get better, bump that first round pick. Let's keep getting better. Because you know what? I will give Philly credit. They had Devonta Smith.
Right.
But they said, you know what? We're going to go get A.J. Brown and make sure that there's no way that Jalen Hurts can fail. Now, he's going to fail against Dallas because we're going to beat them.
Right.
The point is, let's make it super easy. Dak is out here throwing to, let's be honest, bro. Noah Brown he's not an outside receiver. He can't run. He can't run.
He can't, man. Yeah, trying to make him a premier guy. I think that Noah Brown is great. I'm gonna say this. I think he's great at the fourth option. He's great at the fourth option. I'm talking about a guy that's kind of like, hey, he can block. He can surprise you with a drag route, or he can surprise you with a If you hit him underneath, he can surprise you, and that's what I want to see out of him. But outside of that, I don't want to depend on him as his number 2 or number 3. And just because we've seen him do that doesn't mean that he's going to consistently do that. If that can make any sense out of it,
he lost you a game.
Yeah.
And people want to ask, why does draft profiles and all that type of stuff matter? Well, it matters. Focus, to not being able to catch the ball. Dak put the ball right there. People want to talk about interceptions. Nobody's harder on Dak than me, but like some of this stuff, hey, like let's make the play for your quarterback. Let's make him right sometimes. Because what AJ Brown will do is, I don't think that Jalen Hurts is very accurate. I know he's not. But like he can throw it up to AJ Brown and he's gonna post somebody up, or he's gonna, and I think that CeeDee Lamb is stamped that this is his team. And so he's doing his job. But like at a point, you need somebody else. And like, so here's my thing about Jalen Tolbert. I want to give him an off season. I'm not throwing Jalen Tolbert in the trash. I'm not gonna do that because I stood on a table for Tolbert. But I want to give him an off season to say, and you still draft a guy, right? Like you still draft a guy, Law.
But hold on. This is the thing. On the high end, Jalen Tolbert can be, let's say, a poor man's Michael Gallup, right? On the high end.
Yes.
But on the low end, he can be another Fihoko. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we at right now with Jalen Tolbert. So give me a known commodity, man. Go ahead, cut your losses. Go ahead and cut your losses, Cowboy Nation. I know y'all don't want to do it. But if D-Hop is there and he's saying, okay, I'm willing to play for $20 million, and I know D-Hop, how old is D-Hop? He's kind of long in the tooth too. Bring him in. Hello. Bring him in. I think don't play around with it.
D-Hop would do. It's clear that like that infrastructure in Arizona is just out of control.
Right.
And they don't have a leader at quarterback. I think that D-Hop would love playing with Dak Prescott. A quarterback who's going to take accountability. You're not going to have to beg him to get in the playbook and all that type of stuff. I think that he would love to play with Dak Prescott, and I think that him and CeeDee, that just wouldn't be fair. And I think that Dallas may, because they do draft so well, I think they may need to pull the plug on one of these on a stud free agent. And
you know how they can do that? Find the teams that gonna have those new coaches. New coaches equals new philosophy. They not in love with the players. So not just D-Hop. I'll be looking at. I'll be flirting. You talking about flirting? I'll be flirting with Budda Baker. I'm just being real. If you feel like your team is one or two players away, then do that. Now I get it. A lot of people are angry and furious and frustrated. That's a better way to say it. At Dak Prescott, but he's gonna be here for at least 2 more seasons. His contract states that.
Dak isn't going anywhere, and he's gonna have. Listen, Dak is going to have a long playoff run this year. I think that Dallas is going to do great this year. People got to understand this about this quarterback stuff, right? And I was one as well. Like, is Brock Purdy better than Dak Prescott? Absolutely not.
Nope.
Brock Purdy looks like he's playing great football right now. Gee, I wonder why. Oh, San Francisco's done a great job building the team.
Yeah.
Like, and that's an outlier, I guess, but not really. Like, when you build the team and you build the scheme and everybody's on one accord and they know how they want to play, well, guess what? You could just plug Mr. Irrelevant in there.
Mm-hmm.
And like, there's a lot of incompetency. There's a lot of incompetent front offices. I don't think that this is one. I don't think that this is a front office that's incompetent. Now, they could do some things better, but are they incompetent? No. You would be a fool to move on from Dak Prescott, knowing that Dallas is never going to be drafting in the top 10, Law. We're never going to be drafting one.
Never.
So what are you getting that's going to get you closer to what unless you just stink for a year? And this fan base will never let you go 0-19 or 0 whatever.
Right.
Like, let's be honest.
It won't.
No, it won't. And so what you do is you fix the team.
Go ahead.
No,
go ahead. No. Good. My phone over here breaking up. I'm back.
You fix the team and then you go from there. Law Nation, everybody. Law Nation. Law. This D-line versus this Tampa, transitioning back to this Tampa game. What are you thinking about this Tampa run game and how we're going to stop them? Shout out to everybody in the chat box. Law has made this show, he's taking this show over the top as he does. What are you thinking?
Well, with this Tampa, with their front, their offensive line, what they're going to try to do is everything is going to get out quick. They're going to try to play the quick game. They're going to play that underneath. They're going to look back at the first game and they say, oh, they won via running the ball. Trust and believe they're going to run the ball. Law, do you have any information, any details of that? Yeah. The last time we lost to in the playoff beyond the 49ers game, the LA Rams game. You remember that?
Yeah.
CJ, we wasn't worried about CJ Anderson. We wasn't worried about Todd Gurley and those boys. Todd Gurley had some type of injury that he was lingering with. And the Rams that year wasn't even running the ball. But all of a sudden, playoff time came. They looked back at that coach tape. They looked back because the coach gave them a blueprint on how to beat us. They said, you know what? Run the ball. So I'm quite sure Tom Brady, in all of his infinite wisdom, he's going to try to run the ball to open up the pass. What we got to do is take that away from him. We got to score early and often, and our defensive guys on our front. We're going to have a big game out of Jonathan Hankin in order for us to win this game. We got to have a big game out of Big Bo. Those are the two guys that's going to be down inside to push that pocket back to also stop the run. If we stop the run, make Tom Brady one-dimensional, we have a stronger chance of winning this game.
Man, I love what you're saying, Law Nation. I think, you know, one of the things that I found in watching their film, I went back and watched about 3 games, and I think that Dallas will win this game, and I think that we'll win it by about 7 to 8 points. What we have to do, Law, is you need to get Tampa Bay to 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. You want, because Tom wants to play the quick game. He wants a quick game. He wants to get the ball out quick. And so when they do try to run the ball, you need to squeeze the run. You need to choke the run. And I think that that's where, because they want to get that vertical passing game going, but if the run game isn't a threat, then then the passing game and the play action stuff that Tom, because even what you'll notice is, even when Tom goes play action, he's still looking to get the ball out quick, even with the play action stuff. And so Tom isn't an athlete. You know, he's not going to create off script. So I just think, like you're saying, Hankins has to have a game. And the game could be, he doesn't really even have to, he just got to eat up blocks.
Right.
You know, he has to eat up blocks, and he has to get in running lanes, and I think that he will.
Well, who's your starting 4 on the defense, front 4?
Ooh. Depends on that. Well, first down.
I know it's depending on down and out because
I would probably go Osa at the 3, Hankins at the 1. You could pick whatever. Obviously D-Law. Okay. I don't know if I would start Micah at end. Law. What are you doing? What do you think? I would probably start one of our. For the life of me, I don't know why on rundowns we don't play Chauncey Golston, Law, who I've been calling for all year. He had the big game against Washington.
He did.
I mean, I would just put Mike as an off-ball player on early downs. That's just me.
On early down, because you know, the thing is chess, right? So I see Tom will see you in personnel, and he won't let you get out of it. He would do the hurry up offense. You know? That joker, he said, "Oh, you got a light body? I'm gonna work with that." And he already have, like, you know, most quarterbacks will probably have 2 or 3 plays they can feed off of. Tom probably got 15 because he's been here for forever, man. He's old enough to be most of the kids' father out there. So I would look at it like this: you got to create a world where you got D-Law out there, all plays. You got to create a world, even though he's youthful. I think that Sam Williams is better against the run than any of the guys like Doris Armstrong or whoever else that's out there on the opposite side. So somehow, man, we drafted this dude. He got to start now. Sam Williams and D-Law, those are my 2 bookends. And as far as the interior, if we fool around and have Jonathan Hankin out there for the 4-3, Hankins and Osa.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I have to roll with that. And then when Hankins get tired, then I'm gonna have to say, Big Bo, your turn to get some. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, and you just eating those double teams up.
And then the second wave would be like Bo and Gallimore.
Yeah,
and Gallimore been a very big disappointment for me, man.
Yeah, it's almost just like you kind of forget he's on the team.
Yeah.
And what Dallas will do, 4th round, 5th round, they'll draft another D tackle, and they'll probably, is what it is. But, Law, for me, I just think that if Dallas can kind of follow that script of what you're saying and not that's a great point, what you said about not letting, you don't want to let them get a beat on personnel. Because Tom will go tempo, and I think they're better when they are playing up. Yeah. The problem with that is if you get those 3 and outs and you put our offense back on the field, it could be an issue. I did offense the other day. This was a defensive show, but before we go, Law, anything that you want to see, what's your offensive game plan? Take your time with it, and then we're going to close out, and I thank you for it, man.
No doubt. All right, so offensive game plan would be, hey, get Tony Pollard involved, right? I said earlier that I want the Kellen Moore and Dak Prescott to sit down in the room and say, hey, who are my playmakers? Who are my go-to guys? Well, it got to be CeeDee Lamb, first team All-Pro CeeDee Lamb. That's your number 1 guy. Your number 2 guy got to be Tony Pollard. His name is the playmaker for a reason. And I know that belongs to Michael Irvin, but shoot, Tony is a playmaker. That's your number 2 guy. Your number 3 guy got to be in this time, Dalton Schultz. Those are your 3 guys. Let me say again. CeeDee Lamb, Tony Pollard, and Schultz. Schultz is a sure hands catcher. Passer rating when targeting Schultz is still over 120. So you want to utilize him. Now, those are your 3 guys. Nevertheless, when we are inside our own 20 or when we close to the red zone, money zone, then you can insert Zeke. Zeke is still that battering ram. I think he brings a level of physicality. You got to make this a physical type of game. You got to run the ball to open up the pass. And I think that you got to play off the play action. Everybody else is ancillary. Kellen Moore. Yeah. Everybody else is ancillary. T.Y., I like what he brings to the table. Let him be your sure number 2. I don't want to see my guy Noah Brown as the number 2 option. I don't really want to see Gallup at this point. Let it be just like this, and y'all can shank me with the butter knife. Let it be CeeDee Lamb, T.Y., Gallup. Those are your 3, and then you insert my guy, Noah Brown. But get back to 13 personnel if possible, so that this team, the Buccaneers, they really, look, they think that they're about their physicality, but they're not. Go back and watch the first game. We were averaging 5.2 yards per tote. It's just that we shied away from the run.
This is why I bring Law Nation on. He just gave you, we're getting the show. Like, he just gave y'all fire. And he's right, guys. I think that, I don't want to preach after the preacher. They say you don't do that at church. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna leave it at that, because I think that I'll raise my hand. I was very upset after the game. The reason why I'm in DC, I just wanted Dallas to look a certain way. And I'll be honest with you, I think it was some gamesmanship there. Mike is a very calculated guy. I think he said, hey, Kellen, don't show too much. Hey, you know what showed me that, Law, too, I'll be honest with you, was how much we played Trayvon Mullen. I said, they're not trying to win this game. And so that's over with. Kind of like lackadaisical effort, and that's cool. I think Dak is going to really show people a lot, right? Yeah. Law, I think that I just know that, like, for the last month, starting in the Jacksonville game, I've said that Dak, actually the Green Bay game, Dak has been playing his best football. I don't know what's going on with the interceptions, but I really do believe that 4 is playing his best football, and it's just been unlucky bounces. A few have been on him, Washington game on him. Okay, cool. But then a few have not. But the truth of the matter is, man, I really do feel like I feel like Dallas is gonna win, and I feel like it's gonna be like, wow, like, where was this team at? And so, give me your predictions, Law, and then we'll get out of here.
Okay, 28-24 Cowboys. I think that will be the final score. Just to piggyback off of what you just said about Dak, and I know you and Okoye, you guys been hard on Dak. And you're not a Dak apologist for those who are out there just watching. And I love it. There's objective analysis. I think that a third of Dak Prescott interceptions came from the fact that these wide receivers, they hit him in the phalanges and they dropped it. And, he dropped it. And think about this. He broke his thumb week 1, right? He only played 3 quarters. He came back in mid-season, and people were expecting him to be in mid-season form, but he didn't play preseason, right? And I know it sounds like bevies of excuses, but you have to understand, everybody, a broken thumb, that's most important phalange on your hand, your thumb. Right. So you break that, you're not going to be throwing it to the clips of like you were before. And on top of that, come on, man, you're in mid-season. You can't be in mid-season form. I don't know another quarterback who broken their thumb and came back and said, hey, I'm back in mid-season form. Nah, it's just not going to happen. He's forcing things. He didn't have the preseason reps. The first few interceptions with CeeDee Lamb came from a miscommunication. They fixed that part up, thank God. And now the other few interceptions came from ball bouncing off the phalanges and Dak Prescott trying to force it to a Noah Brown. So that's just what it is.
Listen, Vach, good morning to you. Good morning to everybody. Good afternoon to those. Vach, are you going live today, Vach? I might just tap into your live. Are you getting it in today?
Hey, bro, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Vach, are you going live today? I mean, Law, are you going live? Sorry.
Me. Me.
Yeah,
I'm chilling. I'm chilling for a second. Oh, you were talking to me? I thought you were talking to Vach in the chat.
No. I thought I seen Vach in there, but it was a Vach burner account.
Oh, the burner account.
Hey, hey, let's get it, guys. Foots the King on Twitter and IG. Listen, much love to y'all. This some unreleased Foots and Codes. Y'all check us out. For Law Nation, I'm Foots the King. Peace.